Oh, oh, oh. सदाशिव समारंभां
सदाशिव समारंभां
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम्
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्ताम्
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां
वंदे गुरु परंपराम्
वंदे गुरु परंपराम्
वसुदेव सुतं देवं
वसुदेव सुतं देवं
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम्
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम्
देवकी परमानंदम्
देवकी परमानंदम्
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्.
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्.
Now we'll say the 12th shloka of 12th chapter, which is the summary of the teaching. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात्
ज्ञानाध्यानम विशिष्यते
ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते
ध्यानात् कर्म फल त्यागः
ध्यानात् कर्मफल त्यागः
त्यागा शांति अनंतरम.
त्यागः शान्ति अनन्तरम्.
So that's Bhagwan described the path, spiritual journey, but the path for that journey. So Abhyas starts with Abhyas, and the ultimate goal is the Shanti, Anantaram. So Param Shanti. So that's it. So that's it. And then Abhyas, Gyan, Dhyan, and Karma Phal Tyag. That is the essence of all the teaching. All the teaching. So anyway, we have seen that in many chapters. So that's what 12th chapter summarizes, 12th shloka of 12th chapter. Now Arjun's Pratana, which is our Pratana too. 7th shloka, 2nd chapter. Karpanya dosho upahat svabhavah
कार्पण्यदोषो उपस्वभावः
prachami tvam dharma sammudchetah
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः
yat shreyasat nishchitam bruhi tanme
यच्छ्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे.
shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam.
शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
So Arjuna is saying that my I forgot my nature, my identity is lost, karpanya dosh, because of the shrinking, the consciousness is shrinking. Consciousness shrinking means the thinking power. The wisdom is lost. So that's what Bhagavan says, karpanya dosh, upahat sabhava. My nature, my identity is struck by that, or kind of destroyed by that. So I surrender to you, shishyasteham. I am your disciple. And for what? Nishcheya syat nishchitam bruhi tanme. Bruhi means just tell me what is the shreyas for me. And that applies to everyone, every time, in every situation. It applies, right? We look for solution. So Arjuna is looking for a solution. And the answer is the entire Bhagavad Gita, which we are enjoying. And I think we all have some or other way, we all have the same quest, same inquiry, same appetite, same thirst, whatever we call it, and Bhagavad Gita is the answer Bhagavan is providing. So with that, we are on 16th chapter, and last time we just spent first slok itself. We'll recap it, but it is 16th chapter is called Dev Asur Sampat Vibhag. Vibhag Yoga means it's like a division, but there are two, Dev and Asur. Sampad means the wealth. Sampada word has come from the same. Sampad means the wealth. In one sense, we can say is the currency. In this sense, why Bhagavan is telling is the currency on the spiritual journey. If I go to, say, for example, India to America, or if I go to Middle East, they say, okay, get the currency exchange. If you are in Saudi Arabia, you'll use dinar. In Middle East, you use dirham. Or if you come to America, you use dollar. So the rupees won't work here. So there is a currency needed if you are on a journey. So what is the currency of a spiritual journey? Like what Bhagavan says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat, that whole path. Sattvagun, 14th chapter. 14th chapter is the answer. But this 16th chapter, Bhagwan has talked about this currency many times in Bhagavad Gita. Third, ninth chapter, mein, he talks about like Sattva Gun and then Devi Sampad. But here he's just giving the entire list of those currency, like the denominations. So, so you need that currency in the spiritual journey. Otherwise, how you will continue the journey, how you will reach to the goal. And of course, like we all know, the goal, highest goal is Anand or like Purnatvam, completeness. The only problem we have is we feel that we are not complete. And it's all illusion. That's what this puzzle is solved by all our Shastra Acharyas. So this is a currency. So Devi Sampada, that's what Bhagavan is calling, what we are going to read. 25, 26 are there. And if you read this, we already read few of them. These are like all self-help books or motivational books. Anywhere you go, all they talk. Everybody talks the same thing: steadfastness, truth, non-violence, humility. Everybody's talk the same thing. So nothing new. But this is like thousands of years ago. They said that this is the currency if you want to have fulfillment in life, which we ended 15th chapter. Krat kratyasya syad bharat. Krat means fulfilled. And this, so how do you fulfill in journey? You want to enjoy the journey, you need the currency. You need that what you can spend there. So that's why the Sampada word has used. Sampada means, but it is a currency of character. It is not like in the wallet currency. It is the currency of the character. So that's why there's one shlok, we'll talk about that a little bit. So last time we just finished first shlok. So again, the whole chapter, Bhagavan has spent first three shlok on Devi and then Asuri Sampati also, because Bhagavan is a good teacher, as I said. He's telling both sides, do and don'ts. So do Vedic Devi Sampati and don'ts Asuri Sampati. So I was in 14th chapter, हमारे बच्चों की क्लास में 14th chapter चल रहा है, and I love that chapter. See, Trigun wala, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So I just explained to kids what is Sattva, what is Rajas, and what is Tamas. Sattva is calmness. Rajas is a lot of anxiety and like passion of doing things or a lot of activity, which is sometimes unnecessary. Majority time it is unnecessary. According to our Shastra, it is majority time is unnecessary. And then Tamas, of course, I don't want to do things, lethargy, inertia. So I described this, and I said, there is a famous Hindu Itihas book, or so in that book, these three characters you can find, and there are three brothers. So just think, and I gave a little bit of time to them. There are three brothers, and all three are born from the same parents, but one represents Sat, one represents Tamas, one represents Rajas. Who are they? And they came with the answer: Ravan, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishan. That's it. So Vibhishan is Sattvagun, Ravan Rajogun, and Kumbhakarna is Tamogun. Same parents, same DNA. Now all the science sometimes fails here. Science says based on the DNA, everything should match. Now there is something beyond this DNA, something which is kept. So all three have similarly within us also. We should not just think that I am educated. That's what our Shastra says. I'm not saying. Our Shastra Acharya says. This is not my statement. वो हमारे तरुण सागर जी महाराज जैन मुनि भारत में, अब तो ही इज नो मोर. आई एम वेरी फैन ऑफ हिम, राइट. वो ही वाज, उनके तो फ्लायर में लिखा रहता था, फ्लायर रिपीटेड तरुण सागर जी महाराज के कड़वे प्रवचन. उनके फ्लायर का टाइटल ही होता था, और वो बोलते थे कि मैं नहीं बोलता हूँ लिखने के लिए, कि मेरे प्रवचन में वही बैठ सकता है जिसको कड़वाहट सुनना पड़ेगी, नहीं तो तुम जाओ घर. हजारों लोग बैठते थे उनके प्रवचन में. इनफैक्ट ही वाज इनवाइटेड टू राज्यसभा आल्सो, न्यू दिल्ली, एक बार बोलने के लिए. वेरी, एंड ही वाज वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट. he'll just outright say कि ये सब तुम लोग गलत कर रहे हो. So he stopped. He was from actually Madhya Pradesh, so I know more about him. So he said, I have stopped going to mandirs. He stopped going to giving प्रवचन में मंदिर, क्योंकि वो कुछ नहीं, वो लोग मंदिर में जो बैठते हैं खाली कुछ नहीं सुनते हैं, सारे सिर्फ सुनते चले जाते हैं. So he said, मेरे प्रवचन चौराहे पे होने चाहिए. पर मंदिर में नहीं, वहां होने चाहिए जहां पर लोग सुने। मंदिर वाले तो बोलते थे ये सब तो ऐसे ही टाइम पास करते हैं, तो उनके प्रवचन चौराहे पर अरेंज करते थे। भोपाल में तो काफी होते थे, और मध्य प्रदेश में और हरियाणा में कई जगह पे हिंदी में बोलते थे इसलिए। बट वो ये बोलते थे कि कहीं नहीं है, आप ही के अंदर है ये जो दोष है, ये जो ये सब दूसरों में मत देखो दोष, सबसे पहले आप ही के अंदर है। तो वो तो प्रवचन के आखिरी में एक उनका स्टेटमेंट फेमस है, बोलते थे मैं जब खत्म होता था कि मैं ना तुमसे वोट मांग रहा हूँ, मैं ना तुमसे नोट मांग रहा हूँ, मैं ना तुमसे सपोर्ट मांग रहा हूँ, मैं तुमसे तुम्हारी खोट मांग रहा हूँ। मुझे अपनी खोट, अपनी जो नेगेटिविटी है जो, वो मुझे दे दो, वो मेरी गुरु दक्षिणा होगी। तो ही इज नो मोर, बट वेरी पावरफुल। So what, that's what Bhagwan is not telling us that, oh, these are asur people or these are devi people. He is just, Bhagwan is a very independent, like auditor होता है ना, ये जज, here it is, now you decide अर्जुन। वो तो आखिरी में बोलेंगे वैसे, मैंने सब बोल दिया है, अब यथा इच्छे सी तथा करो, अब तेरे को मैंने समझा दिया, तेरी मर्जी जैसा कर, नहीं जाना संन्यास, संन्यास ले ले, आई हैव एक्सप्लेन यू। So similarly in this chapter, he's not saying this is this and this is that. He is giving the attributes of Dev or Asur. And we all have that. I mean, it's not that something outside party is Asur or something outside party. We all, विवेकानंद का एक फेमस स्टेटमेंट है जो बहुत, स्वामी विवेकानंद का, जो बहुत जगह यूज करते हैं योगा के लिए, एवरीबडी इज पोटेंशियली डिवाइन, द गोल इज टू unmanifest the divinity from within. Very powerful statement, because he says there is nothing outside, it's all inside. मुझे लगता है विवेकानंद जी जिस समय, आई मीन ऑब्वियसली ही हैड अ वेरी डिफरेंट क्लास ऑफ पीपल विद हिम, ऑल एजुकेटेड अमेरिका, दैट्स व्हाई ही यूज्ड टू गो टू अमेरिका, जर्मनी, इवन भारत आल्सो, एंड द टाइम वाज लिटिल डिफरेंट। बट अब अगर आएंगे तो आई, ही माइट ऐड अनदर, और आई विल टेल स्वामी जी एक नीचे इसके ऐड कर दो कि लाइक दैट्स करेक्ट, वी आर ऑल पोटेंशियली डिवाइन, we are all potentially undivine also. अगर आप कंट्रोल ही करोगे तो we will become, and we see that right in this today's world, it's so easy to become undivine. अभी कोई राक्षस नहीं आने वाला कि यहाँ सींग होंगे ऐसा, वो तो सब कहानियां हैं। I mean, Asur, we'll see this इस chapter में, the Asuri things, yeah, I mean, if I'm not careful, I get into that. Asuri स्वभाव, Asuri we call it. So definition of Dev, वेरी सिंपल डेफिनेशन ऑफ देव, जिससे दिव्य, दिव्य वर्ड भी आता है, दिव्या हमारी एक बिटिया का नाम भी है राइट। तो दिव्य आता है जिससे, दिव्यति इति देव, दिव्यति मीन्स विच लाइटन्स, इसीलिए हमने दिवा शब्द आया, दिया, दिवा से दिया आ गया, जो लाइटन अप करता है वो देवता, वो देव। तो दैट्स व्हाट वी से, देवता हमारे हमारे अंदर वो जो क्वालिटीज है वो, सो दिव्यति और प्रकाशयति इति देव, दैट्स। एंड असुर की डेफिनेशन है असुसु रमनते, असुसु मीन्स द लाइफ ब्रेथ, संस्कृत में असुसु शब्द इज, असु मीन्स लाइफ, सो वी कैन से लाइफ, असुसु रमनते इति असुर, जो पूरे टाइम जीने का ही सोचता रहता है, असुसु मीन्स लाइफ, पूरे टाइम कैसे खाऊं कैसे बढ़ाऊंगे, ऑल दैट इज असुर, दैट्स अ डेफिनेशन, संस्कृत डेफिनेशन ऑफ देव एंड असुर। And based on, now when we read those qualities, we should have this in mind, that why Bhagwan is telling now, because he already said in the 14th chapter, Sattvagun and Gunatit Bhavarjun. So we have to rise above this. Quality pe atakna nahi hai, and that is what this goal of, I'm sure, this chapter, because Bhagwan himself is telling. So they have an asur. So what is they have an asur? So let's repeat first श्लोक and then we'll go to second and third, hopefully. श्री भगवान उवाच अभयं सत्त्व संशुद्धिः
अभयं सत्त्व संशुद्धि
ज्ञान योग व्यवस्थितिः
ज्ञान योग व्यवस्थितिः
दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च
दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च
स्वाध्यायः तप आर्जवम्
स्वाध्यायस्तप आर्जवम्। इसके उपरांत श्री कृष्ण भगवान फिर बोले, हे अर्जुन, दैवी संपदा जिन पुरुषों को प्राप्त है तथा जिनको आसुरी संपदा प्राप्त है, उनके लक्षण पृथक पृथक कहता हूँ। उसमें सर्वथा भय का भाव, अंतःकरण की अच्छी प्रकार से स्वच्छता, तत्व ज्ञान के लिए ध्यान योग में निरंतर दृढ़ स्थिति और सात्विक दान तथा इंद्रियों का दमन, भगवत पूजा और अग्निहोत्रादि उत्तम कर्मों का आचरण एवं वेद शास्त्रों के पठन पाठन पूर्वक भगवत के नाम और गुणों का कीर्तन तथा स्वधर्म पालन के लिए कष्ट सहना कर एवं शरीर और इंद्रियों के सहित अंतःकरण की सरलता। और टिप्पणी उसमें लिखी है, दृढ़ स्थित निरंतर दृढ़ स्थिति की परमात्मा के स्वरूप को तत्व से जानने के लिए सच्चिदानंद घन परमात्मा के स्वरूप में एक ही भाव से ध्यान की निरंतर गाढ़ स्थिति का ही नाम ज्ञान योग व्यवस्थित समझना चाहिए।
Blessed Bhagwan said, fearlessness, complete purity, steadfastness in knowledge and yoga, charity, self-restraint and sacrifice, self-study, austerity and uprightness.
Yeah, each one we can talk about 1 hour. That's so powerful. But yeah, we last time talked of Abhayam. I'll just quickly repeat, because Bhagwan said first quality of a bhakt. It's all about bhakt. It is not कोई साधक means कोई दूसरी चीज नहीं. साधक शब्द आया साधु से. साधु means जो straight forward. वही भक्त है. There is nothing separate. So this is the first quality is Abhyam. English translation में problem क्या है कि we have to translate in English. We say fearlessness. But here he is saying absence of fear. Fearlessness is a quality you acquire. अरे डरो मत, किसी को बोलते हैं ये. And there is a book, कभी आप लोग, if you get a chance, you must get this book. This book is called Freedom from Fear. This is Swami Dayanand Saraswati Arshvidya Guru Kalam. It is available on this side. This is one of my favorite books. छोटी सी है, like mostly 50-60 pages. And the whole book is about freedom from fear. And Dayanand ji तो खैर, I mean, he was modern Shankaracharya. He no more. तो उसमें भगवान स्वामी जी शुरू ही करते हैं. तो बृहदारण्यक उपनिषद का एक श्लोक है, द्वितीयात ही भयम भवति. उसी से शुरू करते हैं स्वामी जी ये बुक. And he is saying very, this book is like a very academic, but 40-50 pages, very nice book. So he is saying Ditiyat hi bhayam bhavati. The root cause of fear is somebody else. And somebody else in this is not the person, something which I am dependent on. That is also fear. Oh, I lose this thing, so that means I am dependent on that thing. Stock market, अभी कुछ नीचे crash होता है, we all get panic, right? Because something else is creating panic in me, because I am dependent on that. और जब तक dependent है तब तक भय रहेगा. ऐसा स्वामी जी की पूरी बुक. बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल भी इन्होंने दिया स्वामी जी ने इसमें. When you go to a museum or some places where there are mirrors, right? You know, the mirrors, concave, convex, and some places you see yourself fat or something, different. And very nice. He says, when you look at that, you laugh. You have no fear. The reason is because you know there is nobody else. It is only you, your image. That's why but if you see a real person like that, you will have fear. You will run away from that person because there is somebody else. So as long as there is something else, somebody or something, there is a fear. And it is, Vedanta is very clear. And that's what Bhagwan is saying, pehli quality Abhaya. Because Arjuna is seeing that there is Bhishma, there is a uncle, there is a grandfather. And Bhagwan in the very beginning, he said, this is all your illusion, Arjun. Because there is nothing else. It is all the scripted thing. Everything is scripted. And he says in one shlok that ये सब तो मैं जानता हूँ कि ये सब मर चुके हैं. You are thinking you are there. No, it is scripted. If you have to do this, it will be done through you. Anyway, so that's a very different topic, script वाला. बड़ा मुझे तो बहुत पसंद आता है. I love that. But that's what Bhagwan is saying. As long as there is something else, there is a fear. So Abhaya means absence of something else, not fearlessness. Fearlessness, English translation करना पड़ता है, that's okay. But what Bhagwan is saying here is that absence of anything else. You are either you are, everything is you, or you are everything. There is nothing separate. So Swamiji ends this book with that explanation that once you say that everything is awareness, right? There's no fear. And that's why there are people fearless. And my own Guruji, as I said many times, that people have seen him sitting doing prarthana and the snake is sitting in front of him like this. And they used to say, Swami ji इसको मारो, वो रोज रात को आ जाता है. और नहीं, वो आता है, हम प्रार्थना करते हैं तो आता है. And he used to come every night and sit in front of him and just go away. Fear, abhayam. That's what. So anyway, we can keep talking about abhayam. वो मेरा बड़ा पसंद का topic है. So Bhagwan says next is sattva sanshuddhi. That is important for us as sadhak. When we say antahkaran ki shuddhi, and we talked about antahkaran, in Shastra we say man, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, but let's see mind here only. The clarity, we just say mind. So pure mind, sattva gun, 14th chapter. As long as Bhagwan says that spiritual, this is, we are talking spiritual journey, right? If you don't have that pure mind, if you don't have, and pure mind means again, same thing, comparison, ये बड़ा, ये छोटा, मुझे ये नहीं मिला, उसको ये मिला. That is all impurity. So antakaran, हमारे शास्त्र में, we just very quickly touch it. It's a very, very nicely given in by our acharyas. Very, very well. I mean, and I read psychology and those other books, they talk the same thing. So they say antakaran means mind, we can say for a minute. Man, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, चार चीजें, but let's say mind. So there are deficiencies which mind, every mind, and it is very scientific if you look at that, and very, very logical also. So number one is, they say that we have mal, this impurity. Mind has impurity. What is impurity? Bhagavad Gita, Shlok number 337. Arjuna ne pucha, what is the problem with mind? And Bhagavan says, Kam esh, krodh esh, rajo gun samadbhava. So Bhagavan ne do naam diye, but Kam, Krodh, Mad, Moch, we can say Shad Ripu. There are 6 of them. There is a family of all those. Ripu means enemies, or we can say the thieves, जो मन को चुरा लेते हैं. काम, क्रोध, मद, मोह, लोभ. But Bhagwan has said काम and क्रोध. काम एश, क्रोध एश, रजोगुण समद्भव. But the root cause is rajogun. And what is rajogun? Rajogun is like 14th chapter, going back to again. That not understanding that what I need and what I don't need, that causes rajogun. Like, I feel like running behind things which I cannot sometimes achieve, or it doesn't belong to me, and then we get frustrated. So फिर क्रोध आता है. फिर काम means desire, running behind the things. Rajogun means, and when things are not fulfilled, I get angry, agitated. So काम एश, क्रोध एश, rajogun samadbhava. And Bhagavan says in the second line, Vetti enam varinam. Arjun, know them as your enemy. You are thinking these are my enemy. They are not your enemy. Your own Kam and Krodh, your enemy. They are disturbing you, not these people, Duryodhana and all those things. So that's what. So first impurity, Antakaran, has that 37 shloka of 3rd chapter. Kam, Krodh. That is impurity. Second, mal, जिसको mal बोलते हैं, like संस्कृत भाषा में. Second is vikshep. Vikshep means distraction. Again, rajogun. So we all get distracted. मतलब हम मंदिर भी जाते हैं या कोई आध्यात्मिक काम भी कर रहे होते हैं, तो we still get distracted by our worldly needs. कितने सारे लोग बोलते हैं हमारा आरती में मन नहीं लगता है, प्रार्थना में मन नहीं लगता है. वो एक हस्बैंड वाइफ जाते थे मंदिर, तो वो जरा आदमी रजोगुणी था, उसको वहां जाके बिजनेस की बात करता, कुछ करता. तो दे रहे, तुम क्या मंदिर में जाके थोड़ा भगवान पे ध्यान लगाया करो, वहां भी लगे रहते हो अपना बिजनेस. नेक्स्ट टाइम बिल्कुल शांति से रहा. ठीक है, उसने बोला चलो ठीक है. वो आरती चल रही थी, जो भी हो रहा था, बेचारा चुपचाप खड़ा. उसने कहा आज तो कुछ बोलूंगा ही नहीं मैं. एकदम कुछ भी नहीं, आग बंद कर खड़ा रहा. जब वो वापस when they were coming home, so she asked, how was it? He said, yeah, it was good, very peaceful. She said, did you notice what Mrs. Sharma had, like the diamond ring? He said, I didn't notice. तो तुम कुछ देखते नहीं, खाली मंदिर में जाके खाली फालतू की बात करते हो. See, so now it is like this. मंदिर में भी हमें, तो that's what Bhagwan is saying. That is called vikshep, very popular word. So mal is impurity, which we get काम, क्रोध. Vikshep means distracted by worldly things. Rag, dvesh. Rag, dvesh are vikshep. We all get, right? मंदिर में भी जाते हैं तो I have a lot of rag, dvesh. And we can talk about descript. And third thing is avaran. Avaran means the well of ignorance. So three things in mind, like impurities, distraction, and the third thing is avaran, the well of ignorance. And Bhagavad Gita is an answer to all this, right? That's what the karma, upasana. Karma say you can make that mind pure. Upasana say we can stop the distraction, because upasana you have one ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana parupasate tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yoga kshema vahamyaham. 9th chapter. Bhagavan says the one who's just dedicated to me, और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत सेव सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे वटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बल बीरा। तुलसीदास जी कहते हैं अरे फिर हनुमान जी पे फोकस कर लो, फिर इधर उधर मत जाओ। और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, बस सिर्फ हनुमान जी को पकड़ लो आप। लेकिन हम तो वी आर जस्ट लाइक ऑल ओवर, दैट इज विक्षेप। इवन आध्यात्मिक साधना में विक्षेप हो जाता है। सो दैट टू रिमूव विक्षेप उपासना, अनन्यास चिंतयन्तो माम, एकदम सिंगल फोकस पॉइंटेड। कोई भी हो, आप ओम की साधना करो। हमारे गुरु नानक देव ने पूरे शास्त्र में से ओम निकाल लिया, वो पूरा एक नया पंथ खड़ा कर दिया ना। नया कुछ नहीं है, सेम चीज वो भी वही करते हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने कहा ठीक है ओम से ही चलना दो, एक ओमकार सतनाम, उसी पे उनका जीवन निकल गया। बाकी भी लोग आनंद ले रहे हैं, पूरा ग्रंथ लिख दिया उस बात पर। सो दैट इज upasana. And third thing is that avaran, veil, ignorance. The only answer to ignore is jnana. And that's what Bhagavad Gita is all about. Our Vedanta is all about. It's not about knowing more things. Even if I know one thing, I understand what I'm doing. Doesn't matter, right? Even one shloka is good enough, or one mantra is good enough if I understand. Gayatri mantra, even Omkar is good enough if I understand. That is jnana. So jnana is not. So that, and that is Bhagavad Gita is very clear, right? Nahi jnanena saddasham pavitram iha vidyate tat swayam yoga sansiddha kale natmani vindate. बड़ा फेमस श्लोक भगवद गीता का। भगवान से नहीं ज्ञानेन सदृशम पवित्रम इह विद्यते। There is nothing better than jnana in this world which can make you pure. So that is andhakaran. Anyway, so we talked about, but that's important for us, like spiritual जो साधन में is such, and the 14th chapter addresses very well. How do we make antahkaran? We call it, एक बार शिपाल जी, I think आपने पूछा भी था, the conscience, right? Antahkaran. So consciousness is a different thing. Conscience, which is मेरे conscience में ऐसा आया, मेरे antahkaran. Basically mind in the simple sense. And then आगे जो चीजें योग व्यवस्थिति means that commitment. I need commitment to unless I decide my antahkaran has to be pure. Anything commitment. किसी में भी साइकिल भी सीखना है तो commitment चाहिए. I have to learn swimming also. Everything needs commitment. But what about antahkaran shuddhi? When ordinary things need a commitment, we are talking about the character. We are talking about building the whole society and building the better world. That is so. And we are not least committed to antahkaran shuddhi. It's like that. Because आगे आएंगे भगवान बता, and then dana damascha yajnascha swadhyaya. So again we talked about dan. So Bhagavan is saying again sattvic dan. See, the keys of Bhagavad Gita is not about, when Bhagavan says dan means there is awareness behind dan. There was one, कोई पंडित जी या कोई कथा करते थे एक बार किसी राजा के यहाँ, he was doing, and Raja was very happy. He said, oh very good. उन्होंने कहा कि I am very happy with your pravachan or katha, so I want to give you some donation of this old time. So the biggest donation I could give is elephant. Elephant used to be very expensive. Only kings can have elephant. राजा ने बोला कि एक मेरा एलिफेंट ही दे दो उनको। अब लोग भी सोचे रहे वाह क्या बड़ा दान मिला, सब खुशेगा कि देखो यार तुमने क्या राजा को प्रसन्न किया। वो घर ले आया एलिफेंट। अब एलिफेंट की जो डाइट होती है, पंडित जी का एक वीक में पूरा घर का खाना खत्म हो गया। उसके बाद तो उनके घर में बच्चे भूखे लगने दिखा, तो गया ले राजा, बोलने तो क्या हुआ भाई, परेशान हो, आपने मुझे क्या दे दिया, मैं तो परेशान हो गया। तो क्या हो गया, बोले मैं तो खिला नहीं सकता हूँ, मैं तो हम लोग भूखे मर रहे हैं। उन्होंने कहा वापस ला, इसको जो जरिए वो जो चाहिए वो दो। तो दान किसको क्या देना है, दैट इज कॉल्ड अवेयरनेस। सो कोई शिक्षा दान कर सकते हैं, मनी दान कर सकते हैं, वेर एवर नीडेड। सो दैट शुड बी अवेयरफुल एक्टिविटी, इट्स नॉट कि दे दिया किसी ने बोला तो। एनीवे, सो भगवान इज सेइंग। एंड देन स्वाध्याय पे आई थिंक व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, इसमें लिखा हुआ वेद शास्त्रों का पठन पाठन। सो दैट्स व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, राइट। anything which, and Swadhyaya again, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Actually, the definition of Swadhyaya ki swasya adhyanam iti Swadhyaya. Swasya means, swa means self. सेल्फ स्टडी में, सेल्फ स्टडी का मतलब लोग सोचते हैं कि अकेले बैठ के बुक पढ़ना तो ठीक है, इंट्रोस्पेक्शन, अपने को पढ़ना, आई मीन पढ़ लिया उसके बाद, दैट्स व्हाट वी से श्रवणम मननम एंड निधिध्यासनम. मीन देन यू हैव टू रीच, ओके भगवान सेज काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुण समद्भव. आई हैव टू डिसाइफर एवरीथिंग. रजोगुण, ओके वेयर इज द रजोगुण इन मी, व्हाट एक्टिविटीज ऑफ माइन इज रजोगुण. जैसे हम लोग स्कूल में थे, द पर्पस ऑफ होमवर्क इज दिस ओनली. पर्पस ऑफ होमवर्क इज दिस, वॉट एवर टीचर वॉन्ट्स टू मेक श्योर दैट वॉट एवर आई टॉट यू, you go home and introspect. It should become your learning. That instruction has to become a learning. Then it becomes part of curriculum. Then you become educated, basically. That's what. So here also, same thing. सुन तो लिया, लेकिन स्वाध्याय का मतलब स्वस्य अध्ययन, खुद का, लाइक आप आंख बंद करके बैठे एंड एनालाइज योरसेल्फ. एंड वी हैव सीन नंबर ऑफ स्टोरीज, मेनी आचार्यस, रमन महर्षि हो या विवेकानंद हो या जितने भी आचार्य हुए, मेनी ऑफ देम, महावीर स्वामी, बुद्ध, एक बार उनको ग्लिम्स आता है लाइफ में, ओह इट इज डन, नाउ आई नो. देन आफ्टर दैट दे आर बुद्ध, आई मीन दे आर अवेकन. जैसे 15 चैप्टर का आखिरी श्लोक में भगवान ने बोला भी था, राइट, एतद बुद्धवा. बुद्धवा मीन्स फुल अंडरस्टैंडिंग. कत्कत्तश्च भारत. अगर ठीक से सत्य भगवान के तत्व को समझ लिया, समझ, तद बुद्धवा मीन्स विद अंडरस्टैंडिंग. So that is Swadhyaya. So Swadhyaya is important for all of us because we are doing, but it is very important for us to. And then, yeah, tapa. Tapa means again, tapa and yajna, they go together. So Naveen Bhai said, yajna, we had good discussion. A lot of people have that confusion about yajna, that yajna means the Agnihotra. Agnihotra is one type of yajna. Bhagavad Gita is talking about the yajna, and I was reading some definition, some scholar, I forgot, some acharya, he is saying that the yajna is nothing but the utilization of available resources for the well-being of all. That is yajna. That could be anything. That could be Agnihotra, because Agnihotra may be a purpose. We put the herbs and everything. It purifies the environment. It generates when we are doing some positive vibration in mandir or where. But distribution, utilization of available resources for the benefit of well-being of all is yajna. अर्जुन ने प्रश्न किया था कि नित श्रेयस स्यात् निश्चितम ब्रूहितन में, जो श्रेयस मुझसे हो जाए वो मुझे बताइए, वो युद्ध कर, दैट इज यज्ञ. क्या बात है. भगवान इज सेइंग दैट युद्ध इज यज्ञ फॉर अर्जुन. ही इज सेइंग इन भगवद गीता दिस इज यज्ञ. Because this time it is not, because this you are doing for Shreyas. There's no other way you remove Arjun. This is the only solution. We tried everything by Duryodhan. So the only way to remove Duryodhan is Dharma Yuddha. So that is Yajna. So because it is the utilization of available resources, Arjun's bravery or whatever, for the benefit of well-being of all, Shreyas. And that is Yajna. So यहाँ पर यज्ञ, and it could be puja, anything. Puja is like antakaran shuddhi ke liye puja karna, that is yajna. Because antakaran shuddhi is also important. It's not I'm doing for myself, again for Shreyas. So all these, I mean, each one is atomic word, right? And of course, tapa. Again, tapa, a lot of tapas means, people think tapa is for something for sadhu sannyasis. Tapa is very simple definition here is, in any situation, my practice, I should be able to continue. But हमारे साथ क्या होता है कि situation has to change. जब मुझे पूजा करनी है तो घर में शांति होनी चाहिए, या मुझे पूजा करनी है तो मंदिर एकदम क्लीन होना चाहिए, या whatever, like योगा करना है तो योगा मैट ही होनी चाहिए. All this. So tap means that whatever dependency of your sadhana on other things is not there. Whatever is available, I'm still doing tapas. मुझे अगर ध्यान करना है तो I don't need anything. I can just close my eyes and that is tapas. But if there are rules and regulations, we are again rajogun घुस जाता है. I mean, very simple example. मेरे गुरुजी थे. He was head of Arya Samaj in Ujjain, and very knowledgeable. He was a Ayurveda doctor भी थे वो. So he used to run free clinic. Very knowledgeable. I had very good relationship with him. I learned a lot of things. सन्यासी थे. तो I remember एक बार वो हमारे घर पे आए. तो then he used to do very nice यज्ञ अग्निहोत्र. बड़ा अच्छा कराते थे समझा के मंत्र उच्चारण. So he said कि विल डू, उनको बुलाया इसलिए स्वामी जी विल डू द यज्ञ. तो ही केम ऑन whatever 11 a.m. type. लेकिन there was some function at home and everybody was like busy. So by the time lunch was not ready because it was a wedding day and something. So Swami ji आगे बैठ गए and Swami ji and I was sitting talking. But now I could hear inside everybody was very disturbed because Swami ji has come, but now we are not ready because the lunch is delayed because of something else. Now स्वामी जी अंदर झगड़ा वगड़ा होने लगा. जो भी लोग थे होस्ट, देयर फाइटिंग गोइंग ऑन. ये नहीं किया वो नहीं किया, अभी स्वामी जी आगे क्या करेंगे. उन्होंने सुना, उन्होंने कहा क्या प्रॉब्लम है. एंड आई वाज सिटिंग देयर. दैट वाज अ लेसन फॉर मी फॉर लाइफ टाइम. तपा क्या बात है. उन्होंने कहा स्वामी जी वो यज्ञ की तैयारी हुई लेकिन अभी भोजन नहीं बना और बच्चे सब भूखे हैं तो अभी हो नहीं पाएगा. उन्होंने कहा ठीक है तो कितनी देर लगेगी. उन्होंने कहा एक भी बज सकती है लंच करते करते. तो उन्होंने कहा कि लंच के बाद करेंगे. तो somebody said पर यज्ञ करना है ना, तो क्योंकि वो था कि लंच के पहले करेंगे. यज्ञ मीन्स लंच के पहले होना चाहिए. तो कहा नहीं कोई बात नहीं, बच्चे सब भूखे हैं, सब आप लोग भोजन कर लीजिए, हम लंच के बाद करेंगे. एंड आई सेड दिस इज व्हाट अ सन्यासी इज. इट इज नॉट द थिंग, इट इज द सिचुएशन, कैन बी एनीथिंग. ही सेड या यज्ञ उसके बाद कर देंगे आज, सो क्या प्रॉब्लम. वैसे आइडियली करना चाहिए बट देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम बिकॉज देयर आर लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स गोइंग ऑन. दैट इज तपस. इट्स नॉट जस्ट austerity means doesn't mean disturbing others, not even self. It's a joy. Austerity is a joy, not तकलीफ देने वाला काम austerity नहीं. But तपस का मतलब है कि कुछ बहुत खतरनाक काम हो रहा है. And that's it. So all these qualities we can separately also read. Let's go to the next shloka. We can keep talking about these things. So the second shloka, right? Ahimsa satyam akrodha
अहिंसा सत्यम क्रोधः
त्यागः शान्तिर्पैशुनम्
त्यागः शान्तिर्पैशुनम्
दया भूतेषु लोलुप्त्वम्
दया भूतेष्वलुप्तम्
मार्दवम् ह्रीरचापलम्
मार्दवम् ह्रीरचापलम्. तथा मन, वाणी और शरीर से किसी प्रकार भी किसी को कष्ट न देना तथा यथार्थ और प्रिय भाषण, अपना अपकार करने वाले पर भी क्रोध का न होना, कर्मों में कर्तापन के अभिमान का त्याग एवं अंतःकरण की उपरामता अर्थात चित्त की चंचलता का भाव और किसी की भी निंदादि न करना तथा सब भूत प्राणियों में हेतु रहित दया, इंद्रियों का विषयों के साथ संयोग होने पर भी आसक्ति का न होना और कोमलता तथा लोक और शास्त्र से विरुद्ध आचरण में लज्जा और व्यर्थ चेष्टाओं का अभाव और यथार्थ प्रिय भाषण की टिप्पणी में लिखा है अंतःकरण और इंद्रियों के द्वारा जैसा निश्चय किया हो वैसे का वैसा ही प्रिय शब्दों में कहने का नाम सत्य भाषण है.
Harmlessness, truth, absence of anger, renunciation, peace, absence of calumny, compassion for beings, uncovetousness, gentleness, modesty, and absence of fickleness.
Wow. I mean, even if one of them comes, and that's what they say, example, it's like a 4 legs of a table, right? If you pull one leg, all 3 legs will come. So if even one of comes, the rest will come. But good teacher is one who gives the broad range, right? So for the explanation. But ऐसा नहीं कि ये सब अलग-अलग practice करनी है. There is nothing अलग-अलग practice करने का. They are all just one. So ahimsa satya. I mean, they are very popular. These two terms are very popular mostly because of Mahatma Gandhi ने इनको बहुत practice किया. And Mahavir Swami, right? Those two people talk a lot about ahimsa and satya. So, I mean, nothing big to think about, but it is. And again, उसमें नीचे जो टिप्पणी पंकज भाई ने पढ़ी वो बड़ा क्लियर. राम सुखदास जी ने ये सब जो ट्रांसलेट किया है, स्वामी जी थे, तो उन्होंने बोला है कि अंतःकरण, शुद्ध अंतःकरण से जैसा निश्चय आएगा. सो पहली कंडीशन ये थी कि योर अंतःकरण मीन्स द माइंड और योर कॉन्शियंस should be pure. Then whatever comes out of that purity, it is going to be so. Ahimsa is not to be practiced. There is nothing to practice about ahimsa. Somebody says, I am practicing ahimsa. You can't practice ahimsa, right? Ahimsa is a byproduct of that शुद्ध अंतःकरण. जब वो मल, विक्षेप and आवरण, impurity, distraction, and then ignorance will go away, then automatic this person's action will be ahimsa. There is nothing you practice ahimsa. एक बार एक टीचर क्लास में बच्चों को बता रहे थे कि अहिंसा बहुत जरूरी है, अहिंसा करना चाहिए, अहिंसा प्रैक्टिस करनी चाहिए. तो पूछे बच्चों को कैसे करनी चाहिए. बोले इफ यू सी somebody is troubling someone and somebody is cruel to someone, stopping that also because this person is doing hinsa, so stop that is kind of ahimsa. You're stopping the hinsa against someone, so that is also ahimsa. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट डे उसको नेक्स्ट डे लड़का आया और साथ में पुलिस भी आई. मैंने क्या हुआ. बोले इस लड़के को हम पुलिस ने पकड़ लिया. क्यों पकड़ लिया. तो उस लड़के ने बोला सर आपने बोला था कि अहिंसा मीन्स प्रोटेक्टिंग समवन एल्स, हार्मिंग समवन इज ऑल्सो अहिंसा. तो एक मैंने देखा एक लड़का दूसरे लड़के को मार रहा था, तो मैंने रोका और उसको इतना मारा कि वो मर गया. तो मुझे पुलिस ने पकड़ लिया. मैंने भाई ये थोड़ी बताया था कि ऐसी अहिंसा. अहिंसा मीन्स that again everything coming from that understanding, that avaran should gyan. So that is Bhagavan is very clear. Understanding is very, so just knowing ahimsa as a principle, and so practicing ahimsa as a like character, as a swabhav is very two different things. But गांधी जी का जो आश्रम था साउथ अफ्रीका में, वहां पर उन्होंने ये सब नियम लिखे थे, तो अहिंसा वगैरह. तो उसमें ह्यूमिलिटी, इसमें आगे आएगा नातिमान्यता और आर्जवम, ह्यूमिलिटी वाज नॉट देयर. So somebody asked Gandhi ji, can there was a white guy. He said there are a lot of good principles here, like non-violence, truth, and then like aste, non-stealing. Why don't we add humility also in this? So Gandhi ji ने बड़ा अच्छा उत्तर दिया था. He said, no, not needed. He said, he thought Gandhi ji will be appreciated. He said, not needed. He said, why? He said, because humility is a byproduct of this. So either you add humility, remove ahimsa. Because if you're humble, then ahimsa is a byproduct of. And if you're ahimsak, then you're by default, you're humble. They go, so you don't have to have two. So either humility or ahimsa. So all these qualities are not like independent of each. एक अगर अंतःकरण शुद्ध हो गया तो all these will fall. But भगवान ने explain किया हुआ अलग अलग. So ahimsa we don't have to talk much. Satyam, akrodha. Again, akrodha means absence of. Mr. Rogers, Pittsburgh, he is one of the hero of Pittsburgh, and one of my like unseen hero. And he used to say a very nice, I mean, he got some from somewhere else, this quote. And he used to say that about to kids. He was telling to kids. And he used to tell that, don't throw your tantrum. Nobody needs them. Yeah, we throw our tantrums. When I'm unhappy, I'll just raise my voice and raise some words. So he said, don't throw your tantrum. Nobody needs them. And true, nobody needs your tantrum, right, or words. So he used to say that somebody else's, what happens in krodh, that's why he's saying akrodh. Somebody else's action should not determine my response. Somebody said something and I respond. So my response is, I know what I have to respond, but majority time we respond based on somebody else's. So somebody else's action should not determine my response. And that is akrodh. Akrodh means somebody does something and I get krodhi. So it is not, again, it's not to be practiced. It just comes. So Bhagavan is saying, and then Shanti, of course. Shanti, we don't have to talk much about. Everybody knows. Again, he says, Antahkaran ki uparamata. Antahkaran is a very popular word used in all our Vedanta. Vedanta में अंतःकरण बहुत यूज होता है. But simple is man, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. They divide, but it's man basically. Buddhi and man, they go together, and chitta is again this memory storage, like the previous. So if I am not in past, I am not in future, half problem is solved. Antakaran shant ho gaya. Because the problem is past and future. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. Shanti means antakaran ki uparamata. Upara means away from. So when mind is away from past and away from future, where does mind has to go? There is nothing to go. It's just peace. And that's what हम जब ध्यान करते हैं, that's what we do, right? अगर past और present में mind नहीं जाएगा तो करेगा क्या? शांति. So that's what he's saying. कि शांति अंतःकरण की उपरामता. And then apashunam. Apashunam is very like, again, these days, किसी की निंदा ना करना. Ninda means that's what our nature is. Ninda is both comparison and ninda. And my father used to say, it's a psychology, a human psyche, कि सबसे ज्यादा मनुष्य को मजा आता है तो पर निंदा और आत्मस्तुति में. वो उसमें हमारा वो डोपामिन रिलीज होता है. पर निंदा मीन्स क्रिटिसाइजिंग अदर्स, आत्मस्तुति मीन्स प्रेजिंग सेल्फ. एंड उसमें वो डोपामिन इफेक्ट होता है ना कि और तारीफ करो, डोपामिन इज गोइंग अप. और निंदा, डोपामिन इज गोइंग अप. सो दैट्स व्हाट भगवान इज सेइंग. दैट इज अपैशुनम. पाश शब्द आता है लीश से. आई मीन माय कॉन्शियसनेस इज अनलीश्ड. किसी की निंदा करना इज अपैशुनम. इट्स लाइक, it's really bad. Everybody knows. हम बच्चों को सिखाते हैं, don't say anything. It's very bad. So that's what he's saying. कि ये सब अपैशुनम है. पैशुनम is निंदा, किसी की निंदा ना करना is a देवी quality. So all these, and सर्वभूतेषु, सब भूतों में. अलल्लुत्तम. मार्दवम is like, again, मार्दवम is humility, and re means not going against the rules. Basically, that's right. And there is some kind of self-control, we can say, or softness. There are a lot of words. And achapalam. Achapalam is very nice word, like, which is vyartha cheshtaon ka bhav. Again, same thing. That with vikshep, when I said, like, there is one of the weakness of, one of the disease of mind. I just say आयुर्वेद में होता है ना, वात पित्त कफ दोष है कि या तो आपको गैस हो जाएगी, या पित्त हो जाए, एसिडिटी हो जाएगी, या कफ हो जाएगा. That's Ayurveda says कि यही तो बीमारियां हैं. And medical science also similar. So here he says achapalam is same. We talked about mal, vikshep, and avaram. Vikshep is the chapalam. Chapalam is like the wandering mind or wandering man. Idhar udhar, pure time distracted. Achapalam, not distracted. And we all know who cannot agree with these things, right? Yeah, everybody wants कि मैं अगर मूवी देख रहा हूँ तो सिर्फ मूवी देखूं, गेम देख रहा हूँ सिर्फ गेम देखूं, या प्रार्थना कर रहा हूँ तो प्रार्थना. बट हमारा मन तो चपल, शब्द चपल इज यूज्ड इन शास्त्र में. चपल मीन्स ऑलवेज वॉन्डरिंग, राइट? सो अचापलम, शांति से एक जगह व्यर्थ चेष्टाओं का भाव इज अननेसेसरी. कीप थिंकिंग, कीप टॉकिंग. इंटरनेट सर्फिंग में देयर आर सर्वेज, राइट? लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव say that when we start surfing, and then 80% time it's a waste of time. I go for one product, स्नो ब्लोअर देखना है, अभी स्नो आ गई, वो 1 घंटे में आप पता नहीं कहाँ से खा, और वेयर आई हैव कंप्लीट स्नो ब्लोअर से शुरू हुआ और आप कहीं और ले जाएगा वो, राइट? एक के बाद क्लिक करते करते. दैट इज व्यर्थ चेष्टा, unnecessary wasting the time, unnecessary surfing, we call it, right? And there is a word they use, that dooming something, yeah, word they use, like, yeah, it'll come to me. Yeah. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. So all these, absence of these is, so we'll continue next time, one more shloka of Devi quality. But yeah, again, the purpose of telling Bhagavan is that for a spiritual journey, again, like going back, why Bhagavan is saying that this is the currency, sampada. If you have these qualities, then journey can be joyful, right? Without money, without credit card, there is no journey, right? Kahin bhi jana hai to. But this is the quality. So we'll continue next time. But we'll do, before we do dhyan, just one quick story about that fulfillment. Atma Shuddhi, Antakaran ki Shuddhi, whatever, there are various words. But Antakaran ki Shuddhi ke liye, or fulfillment ke liye, we think we have to do a lot of things. So this student, or he goes to the guru and he says, how do I get the fulfillment? And so it must be teacher like Bhagwan, right? So he said there was an empty tumbler was there, metallic. And Guru says, look at this. So what is it? So he says, yeah, but this is empty. He said, that's it, the message, right? He said, but I'm talking about the fulfillment. You're showing me something empty. So Guru took a little piece of rod, and हम लोग use करते हैं ना जो meditation bell में, and he struck that ball, and a beautiful sound came out, Tan, like sur एकदम से. Then Guru says, what do you say now? There is nothing is missing here. You said it is empty, but there's nothing is missing. It's, and then the student looked, same again, Nididhyasanam, right? He closed his eyes and he says, does the pranam and leaves. Done. So he thought this pot is empty. Yes, we have to become empty to be fulfilled. हम लोगों ने fulfillment का मतलब समझ लिया है कि बहुत सारे, I mean, there are certain value in that. 1008 राम जी के नाम लिखेंगे या 1008 गायत्री में, वो सब ठीक है, इतने तीर्थ स्थान करेंगे. There's a value in that. But if without understanding I'm doing, it's not going to give the fulfillment. That quantity is not the fulfillment. It doesn't matter how many times I have read Ramayana or Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata. That is not the goal here. Fulfillment means you have to become empty. जैसे कोई भजन भी है, लास्ट टाइम मैं कहीं गया था, मेरी टॉक थी, तो वो भजन से शुरू किया था, तो आई स्टार्टेड माई टॉक. वो भजन में ये था कि वो कृष्ण का वो भजन था कि मैं तो बंसी हूँ, तुम जैसे चाहो बजाओ. तो मैंने अपनी टॉक वहीं से शुरू कर दी इसी बात पे कि वो भजन यही कह रहा है कि खाली तो हो जाओ, फिर मैं बजाऊंगा. इतने भरे हुए हो तो मैं बजाऊंगा कैसे? बंसी मीन्स दैट एम्प्टी बैम्बू पीस, दैट्स इट. कृष्ण बजा देंगे. भजन भी वही है कि मैं खाली बंसी हूँ, आप बजाओ. Same thing. So fulfillment here also, when we say अंतःकरण की शुद्धि, अंतःकरण की शुद्धि में अंतःकरण में बहुत सारा कुछ भरना नहीं है, अंतःकरण को खाली करना है. That's what he's saying. So the empty ball, if it strikes, it produces the beautiful sound. That means nothing is missing. It's all full. So that's what Devi Sampada is, nothing but not filling the antahkaran, emptying the antahkaran. So yeah, so with that we'll just go over dhyan and we'll finish next time Devi Sampada and continue with Asuri. Right? Now again, now every time we read something and I read, every time we get a message. Now same thing, what we do from senses going outward to bringing inward, nothing was emptying the antahkaran. And that is dhyan. There is no all this meditation technique, whatever defined, but एक ही चीज है. खाली करो तो भर जाओगे. It's like that. So that's what we are doing. We are throwing everything outside, and जो बचेगा वो भरा हुआ. It's like that. Oh. Again, the journey is from these 5 senses which are interacting with the outside world, which is made of 5 elements, Panchabhut and Panch Gyanendriya. Gyanendriya, that's why I say, because Gyan means perception. So through these senses, we perceive the whole world, 5 elemental world. So the goal is to shut down those 5 senses. Once these 5 senses are shut down, the mind will have very limited things to do, as we talked about, right? And then Buddhi will stop, and then I realize that I am Sakshi Chaitanya. That's what. So let's bring the focus to the tip of the nostril. Slow and shallow breath. It's not a pranayam. And just bring the image of Prithvi Tattva. This is the first element, and the first sense is the Nasika, which is Gyanendriya. And first gross element is Prithvi. So shift focus to the tip of the tongue and bring image of Jal Tattva. That means through tongue, through this Jivha, which is Gyanendriya, we interact with Jal Tattva. In fact, if we do for a longer period of time, this focusing on the tip of the tongue, you will feel the juice there. I mean, after a few seconds, a few minutes, you can feel the juice there, right? Focus to the eyes, and the next element is Agni Tattva, which is Surya Bhagwan is the best representation of Agni Tattva. So bring image of Surya Bhagwan and keep the eye, focus on the eyes, because through eyes we see the Agni. The next element is Vayu. So to Vayu we cannot see, we cannot touch, only we can feel on. And the next Gyanendri or sense perception is Tvacha. Tvacha means skin. So on a skin we can feel Vayu. So keep the focus on a skin and feel the Vayu or wind on a skin. The next element is space, and space travels in sound travels in space. So hearing sound means I realize the space. So keep the focus on ear and we can hear some sound, but the goal is not to hear the sound. Goal is to feel that there is a space around me. And all these elements are outside, also inside me. And these are Bhagwan's manifestations. Bhagwan has said in 7th chapter. So everything is Bhagwan, like space outside and inside me. But this exercise, what it helps to shut down these senses. So when the transaction with the outside world is reduced, with practice, it just comes down to zero. When there is a zero transaction, because mind is the gateway for these senses. But there is no transaction, then mind, like we talked about, right? The antahkaran, there is nothing happening, so mind has to quiet down. Still it wanders, it will go to past, it will go to future and keep wandering. But when mind is quietened, now Bhagavan says, Gita also 6th chapter, I am not these senses, I am not these elements, I am not even the mind. I am the Sakshi Chaitanya, the pure consciousness. At this time, we can try to observe the mind. And who is observing? The awareness. Because I am aware of mind also. I means that awareness. So this is a very fascinating. I mean, when we have more time, you can practice. It's very enchanting and very, very joyful, right, experience. Just observe the mind. And we'll see that it wanders a little bit. Then it comes back, because every thought has a beginning and end. So when it goes, it comes back. To hold on to that gap. Slowly, the gap will increase and the mind will be quiet for longer time. And in that state, the only awareness, and that is, we call it samadhi. When Bhagavan says, brahmacharane vrata, means you just, and yuktasit matvar, do my dhyan. It's best we are not reached to the stage, so just bring Bhagavan's image in mind, in my awareness. Eventually, Bhagavan will also go away. Either awareness remains or Bhagavan remains. Tattvamasi. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Holy Krishna Kanaya Lal ki
Jai.
Okay, so we'll continue. I think next week we should be able to